Oh, welcome back to Aldridge Farm. We're all working today. Just to come out of character for one moment. Remember, don't go by the days up there. It's the seasons which are more important. Because each day, game day, depicts several weeks or so. Certainly several days. So to go back. Right, we've got Kylie has been moved up to doing the north of field 19, ready for wheat to go in there for brooms. Tom's still doing field 1, I think it is. He's still ploughing that. And I'm cultivating second part of 12, and I am going to spread a bit of lime over it, then seed it. And that's my job for this session. Not that it all get done in this actual session, but you know what I mean. News from Aldridge. Well, BP's on his travels again. Let's better get rid of that. BP's on his travels again. He's got a help out over an island. Phil somehow got himself come off worse than an argument with a cow. It slammed him against the wall, or something, I believe, and it smashed his leg up really badly. His leg and knee are a mess. So BP has gone over there to help Perry and the hands out to get done. I sometimes wonder how he finds time to do his work. He's left his hands there, of course, but the way I understand it, he's going to be taking them with him later. It's just a little bit further. Excuse me if I go through the hedge. One, we're doing every other one, it's easier. Take this back just off the field. Set up. I'm using GPS. Some people consider it cheating. I don't consider it using your noddle. Anybody can be big and attempt to do it, but I can't afford to miss too much. Our own news, well, the Reverend Timothy Firling is still waiting to hear. Apparently the bishop, well, he's seen Timothy and he's now thinking about it, and he's getting other witnesses and that involved. So or other people who's involved are getting their stories. He seems to be a very cautious man, the new bishop. The old one used to just dive in fairly quickly, sometimes rightly and sometimes wrongly, but who am I to say? So Timothy's still on tenterhooks. As for the solar panel farm, we're still waiting on the final plans to go in. My mate at the district council planning officer said he'd let me know as soon as he hears. He's a good chap. Money that's going to cost me. Hello, Kylie's hit a few problems. We may have to go and help her out. We'll get to the end of this road first if she hasn't sorted it. There is a few trees round there, and I may not have told her to do enough headlands. No, she might be out. There's a oh, well, apparently she is out. She's ploughing again. But as for the farm here, we're just about on schedule for what I want. I always could do with being a bit further forward. I really should have put a headland in up there. Still, I think I might just do that. I'll do it for the. Just back up and just do a quick headland around here. keep forgetting how little room we have on these fields, and I'm not going to make the fields smaller. Oh dear me, no, that's money out of my pocket if I do that. And you know what we farmers are like. We will not waste an opportunity to make some money. But it's not easy in today's climate to make money as it is. Everybody seems to be trying to screw us down to the low, but yeah, that's my problems. I'll just go to the end here. I thought I did do one, but it don't look like that's quite enough. I'll go back, go up the other, go back and carry on, and when we get to the other end, we'll just do a quick handle there, although we have almost finished. As someone once said at Sod's Lawn, I really must take the telehandler back too, although I will need that to get the rest of the muck up, which I left in heaps. This one should be alright when we've mucked out here. Or when we've cultivated the muck in on this field, we should be fine. But it'd be nice to actually get some of our own crops in the ground. As you know, we've got 11 is fully seeded, but that's organic seed barley for brooms again. But they will be paying us quite a bit, having seen the contract, and looking forward to not having to worry about doing contracts myself and get pulled to do them all come harvest. His first task will be to sell our grain. I've got some sold on contract, but most I'm going to go up a spot this year. Our organic stuff has to go to OEB or brooms. Either of those will take our organic. Beet will be going to the freight yard. They are going to do our beet for us. I'll take our beet, and we will get paid a bit more if it's up to spec. If it's not, we won't. Quite simple. Well, we've got to get the beet in the ground first, but that's a long way away. Late spring, early summer, I'm guessing I'll be sowing the beet. And I have been toying with the idea of potatoes. Now we've got extra field, and we may well, depends on how things go this coming winter for hay and straw, we might well, or hay especially, we may well bring 18 back into production. We don't seem to be doing so bad now, not since we've got the meadows back. We'll just go along here and do this. We did give it a little bit by others, but not enough. Nowhere near enough. Whoa. Just go to the end here and just give this a quick how's your father. So we're going to say do 12 all in barley, and I might even bring up a bit at the end back into production, but I'm not quite so keen on it because it's a fiddly little bit, but it might do. May plough that in, just throw some spuds in there. We shall see. It won't be this year anyway. This year I think we're going to have more than enough to do. Now, some people have been wondering about Tom, how well he's doing. Actually, I'm very pleased with the lad. The lad, I say, he's 24. He's not really a lad anymore compared to me in praise, but he's slowly beginning to come out of himself and not be quite so surly, and he seems to be enjoying the work. And as the majority of the population is taking him as he is, and not what he does or did, We hope it did anyway. Not my reputation's gone up there. Swanee. No. I realised I'd taken quite a risk in taking him on. But the Crawford Browns as yet hasn't got a whiff of it. They're too busy wondering what the hell is happening at the old donkey sanctuary, because there's been a lot of people there measuring and going ahead. And that's right on top, right under where they're building, or what their deluxe homes. Look, I've got nothing against the rich coming into the valley, except they tend not to spend as well in our local shops. They tend to seem to get it coming in from high class establishments. Mind you, they would actually do the farm some good, because I know a lot of them will be customers that use Darren's mail order service for his high quality stuff, and if they can get it delivered to them, they may well use that a lot more, which will do me good, because Darren will want more stuff. And that reminds me, I must think about moving some milk over term. Yes, I better take a tank of load over term. I may well do this and just do this job, then just whip down to the cows and get the tanker. Right, yeah, not far off the dairy here on this field, so I think that's my next job. And I'll hook up with the lime spreader, get some lime put on this field, because as you can see, here it's only slightly acidic, but near the centre it's getting quite bad. It's down to 6, and I don't like getting it quite that low. So, but I'm not cultivating it in, because that really will shoot the alkalinity way up. So we have to do a little spread on the top, and that will soak in slowly. We can do that quite nicely, and then seed on top of it. Hopefully our cultivator loss of direct drill won't actually mix it in too much, so that we do it straight after seed. But I don't particularly like doing that, just in case it mixes in too well with the ground and it sends the alkalinity way off the scale. These are things we farmers have to think of. Oh, and good news is one of the cottages that used to be a farm cottage is come free, and what I'd been doing is leasing it out to an agency, and I've taken it back in-house, and Tom's taken that over, and actually it's next door to Kylie. She seems happy enough about it. Her bloke is not quite so keen. He knows what's happening, but I think she's talked him into it. Feminine wiles and all that. So they're both in those nice little thatched cottages, and which were all once farm owned. Let's remember, at one time thatch now is sort of twee and very expensive. When they were built, they were cheap to build, like clay lump houses. Thatch cottages cheap because the thatch came off the land. My grandfather and father had those built sort of late in my grandfather's time and early father's time, and they had those built, and they were built to a good standard, but with as much materials as they could get off the land. Well, they're wattle daub rather than clay lump. Now how can I explain wattle daub? It's a framework made out of wood with wattle, which is used quite often hazel, interwoven inside the frame of the parts, and then daub is put on top, and that's a mixture of clay, cow muck, and Anything else was a bit sticky. And it's allowed to harden off in its own good time. It takes a long time to harden. But once they're up there, nice house. But we had all those done up about 20 years ago, and it did cost a small fortune to do them up. They all want new hazel twigs and had to be redaubed. And of course at the time we didn't have many animals, so most of the muck we had to buy in, of all things. Can you imagine buying cow muck in? I think we're getting through this nicely now. I think we'll probably get this done. There won't be time to do too much more. We might just leave the cultivator in the field and just take the tractor over to the dairy, pick up the milk tanker, deliver to Darren. He should be up and about by the time we get this done. Now seriously, I'm hoping this year we get enough money to replace this tractor. I think it's getting to be a must. May but one load of one field of maize in actually. And I think the new one, well new for this year, 14 will be the one for that, and we will just chaff that, shove it into the BGA to get some money from there. Can be a bit costly to do that, but we have got the equipment standing here. Well, fine, BP isn't using the forage harvester at the time, especially with his busy lifestyle now. Yeah, international jet setter. Hello, this last time we drove up there, I remember. You're going to laugh at this. I drove the JCB, of all things, empty, no trailer or any equipment on it. I was just taking it for a little bit of a test run. And I put my foot down, that's what one does. And he was just about to leave the village. He was ahead of me, I saw him there. I closed my eyes, put my foot down, and went for it. And I overtook him. He was in this little Unimog. I don't know. I think he realised who it was, at least I hope so. I hope he had his eyes open enough to see that it's me. I'm waiting to see him when he comes back. And that's a strange thing too, he still uses the pub, but he doesn't drink much now. Drinks very little indeed. We begin to call him the Coke King. And not because of his drug habit, you understand, but because of the soft drink he takes. Must make certain that I get that right. He'll never forgive me. Ah, it's looking better already. Some people like a ploughed field, I like a well cultivated field, which is why even with a direct drill seeder I normally cultivate. I normally take the paw harrow through just to churn it up a bit before we put the seeder in. And that's a point I'm probably have to buy some more seed. Still, for the first time in years we actually have some money. We have a working capital of £74,000 at the moment, plus what overdraft is left. I don't think we, what did we? I think we just cleared all the overdrafts, so we've got 74,000 plus overdraft facilities of 200,000. Could we probably buy a tractor to replace this? But I think I'll keep this going this year, and if I've got more muck to do I will swap tractors with Kylie. This can pull the plough easy enough. It it just doesn't like the heavy stuff on the back of it, pushing it all the time. And that's what that muck spreader's doing, especially when it's loaded. There's that amount of muck on there, and it's not a lightweight implement either. It's pushing the tractor all the time and making the front end very light, even with a lot of weight on the front. So we've got that. And look behind us. Oh yeah. Yeah, we got it all. 3 or 4 more passes to go, but I've got 4 more bugs. So we get that done. We get the milk sold, and that should do for the day. You might be stuck with me for about 40 minutes. I'm just talking about people I haven't seen for a while. I haven't actually been up to see how Sean's doing with the sheep. I haven't seen him for quite a while. He hasn't been in the pub lately either. But again, it's spring, lambing in full flow now. Although mid-spring, it's probably most of his lambing's over. It'll be early spring, most of it. But still be looking after young lambs. Pick out which ones to sell and which to keep. Although we do have a lamb rear and shed. I don't worry so much about getting rid of them, but when you see them running loose, it's like I couldn't really get rid of them. It's like our main flock. We got some really old deers in amongst that lot. Can't bring myself to destroying them. Silly, I know, but they still produce some wool. We put enough new in, and we get a food dye every year. We keep the flock reasonably well up. That's better. Never put in GPS if you got your wheel turned. It doesn't like it. They don't like it up on Mr. Manrun. Really, I want to wash this too. Let's have a look at hell. Yeah, it's getting filthy. So it's a power error. I don't really want the beacons going there, they can go off. Don't want to wear the bulbs out. I remember when you used to have the 3 metre power harrow on this farm. It took forever, at least a 6 metre. It's better than half the time. I'm not getting anything bigger than that because I decided that around the JCB size, 230 odd horsepower will be about what we might go to. We might go for 250. We may get some bigger than the JCB, but I haven't really looked through Farmers Weekly to see what the best tractors about are. I look through and see what the latest spot price for grain and animals are, but I haven't had much time to really read it lately. I've got a stack of about 5 sitting at home. But what with this and the council business, it's keeping me well and truly occupied. Right. Not many left. Oh, and I really must refuel this when I get back to the farm. I should have used to finish this off and do the milk run. If I am, someone will have to come out with the fuel tank or the fuel tank and refill me. Always forget to refill. Don't want to get much lower than about 30 litres anyway. Being amongst the dregs, this is quite an old tractor now. Done a lot of work and the tank won't be as clean as it should be inside. And the last thing you want to do is start dragging a load of muck through the injectors. You remember, I don't think we've ever actually done this field in one, but I remember watching this field being worked as one, and it was a lot of work with the odd shapes of it. I think I'd done best by cutting it into three. One bit I just ain't using. I will get round to using it for something one day. So I think if I cut that off and make that top bit there a little potato field, it will work to our advantage. Now I'm going to have to watch it here because we're close to the tree. I think I'm going to have to back, and I looks like I missed a bit here anyway. Yeah, I did. It should have it. Worse when I miss something, because Kylie especially will have a real go if I miss something. I think of all of us on the farm, she's the real farmer amongst us. She's the one who's got all the modern ideas, which I fight like hell to ignore. I like the way I farm now. Yeah, see if we leave the poor Harron near that gateway and go out that way around to the cattle. You do realise now that you've been I've been videoing this for over 500 hours, not all of which have gone on screen, but I've got 500 hours of video at home. Mother-in-law told me the other day. She wondered what I want to do with it. I thought we might as well burn it. There's bits that, like the wedding and the show, but we still like to watch now and again. Me crashing into the wife is something I don't want to watch again. For those who have a reasonably long memory can remember that particular episode. The worst of it was, it's just after I bought her that Beetle for her birthday. Don't know why, but she's always wanted a Volkswagen Beetle. And no, I haven't actually been out for a good ride on the bike lately. I really must get that out and done up. I think it was an MOT. I have to run that round to the garage. Chad can't do MOTs on cars and bikes. Well, you can do them on cars, but you can't do them on bikes. But the garage can. I think that's due early summer, so I must get that done. Because I can imagine the headlines. Local councillor gets caught for having no tax or MOT on his motorcycle. Yes. Crawford Brown would love that. Well, I might as well take this down to the farm, up to the area, because this Pa Harris thing better be simpler. I won't have to think about coming back to field 12 to pick it up. Well, almost at the end now. So I think I will just do the milk run. It makes sense to get that done now. That'd be a bit more money in. Funny how everything comes down to money. Folding up. Good job done, I think I say so myself. Don't want that done. Come out here and go along the pathway rather than drive on the edge of the field anymore. Well, Carla, she got stuck again. I got a little message through, but she seems to have unstuck herself again, and Tom seems to be having no problems whatsoever. Now that's driving for you. That's well, it would be if I was going the right way, of course. So busy thinking about the others that I forgot what I should be doing as normal. So that's funny, I ain't come across a feed hopper yet. Luckily the trains don't go very often around here. Humpback Bridge, slow down, slow you down, boy. We need to have this tractor in reasonably good nick when we sell it. What's the feed up a lot? Looks like there's plenty of feed in there. We'll have to get down and feed those up fully fairly soon. Maybe tank a full tank of milk. I think it's over 10,000 litres sitting there. And our silage still isn't ready. All I could do with that holding up a bit longer yet. Turn the engine off, I don't particularly want to. Disconnect that PTO No. Now you see the way it springs up. It's a lot of weight on that piece of gear. So I bet I get lost now going to the shop. Well, I call it shop, it's more like a factory now. Kind of got to do the PTO, so we will turn off the engine. Hook the PTO in and away we jolly well go. The engine's getting a bit that don't always want to start on the starter. So this is getting old. This and the steer are the oldest tractors on the farm. Steer is actually slightly older, but hasn't done quite so much work as this one. Oh, it can't be under it yet. Oh, we are now. That's better. Put the brake on whilst we're filling up. I'll just take you to the shop, and that will be an episode. I'll bring this back in my own time. Now let's see if I can get lost. 10,000 litres of milk, top quality milk. We go around by 11. Have a look, see her. Nothing's showing yet. Should soon be showing green. No, it's nothing showing there at all yet. This is sort of the worrying bit. Will it actually grow? It may be getting close to time too for a new combine, but that old class has seen me through thick and thin. The problem is, I'm going to have to buy myself a header trailer. I don't like header trailers. At least with what the set we've got now, we can go and drive it as is. I still haven't got round to clear and trim that hedge back. There we are, there's Darren's. Oh, and Tom's run out of juice too. Don't know how much, he can't have much more of that field one to do now. He's been on that for a while, but all ploughing takes a long time to gear we've got. I might give him a hand to do some ploughing, but I think now best bet is I carry on as I am and just keep on getting it. I think we're going to hit the wall. No, we're going to just be on the wall, so we're just straighten up. I need to come and cut this grass too. Cut me all up the driveway into the lower part. I'm going to come out a cab because this is silly. It's going to take all day. I have plenty of room there. there. And there come the money. Right, with that I'm going to say thank you for watching. If you like this all, please consider leaving a like. If you're not subscribed and wish to see more of this long running series, feel free to subscribe. I just take this lot down and get me screenshot, and I have to just jump across. I can't do anything to it anyway. We're going to have to put up with seeing that on there. I do this once a week. Because I enjoy it. Whether anybody else doesn't matter. We're almost out. Any questions? Oh, yeah. Any questions, queries, comments, or anything else you wish to say? Feel free to post them in the comments bit. I read every one and try and answer every one. With that, it's me saying cheerio for now. Cheerio.